Uh, we went and saw Batman vs. Superman, The Dawn of Justice.
Yeah, that's what it was called.
Um, there was a moment about an hour and a half into this movie where I thought, well, this isn't, anything to write home about, but I wouldn't call this 33% of Rotten Tomatoes bad. And then 7 hours later, I said, ha, I get it now. Not having seen the first one, I wasn't as lost as I expected to be. What I'd heard was that Superman pretty much blows up a city and murders a bunch of people, and basically this movie is what are the repercussions of Superman blowing up a city and murdering a bunch of people. But it quickly degenerated into the two dumbest men on the planet trying to murder each other for no particular reason. I mean, they gave Batman like a slew of reasons why he'd logically want to kill Superman. And then they also gave him psychotic breaks and a weird sort of like incentive via Lex Luthor sending him fake notes in the mail, the purposes of which I still don't completely understand, other than to give Lex Luthor a point in this movie. Because honestly, if it had just been Batman's mad at Superman for killing a bunch of people, including an entire building full of his employees, and Superman's a pompous dick, that would have been fine. That would have been a movie's worth of movie. But instead, it's just, there's all this ancillary bullshit, culminating in Doomsday for 20 minutes, and I was kind of under the impression he was a little bit more of a big deal than that. I guess you know we're gonna get into spoilers, but probably if you're watching this, you've already seen Brad and Brian's movie, and they've, I'm sure, gone over all the minute plot points. There's stuff I don't know much about DC. I know from Marvel to some extent. There was a period in my life where I read a lot of comic books, but for the most part it's by proxy, because a lot of my boys like comic books and I like hearing stories, so it's kind of like, tell me about the Infinity Gauntlet. But I don't hear a lot of DC stories, so there's stuff that happens in this movie that I know is wrong just because that information lives in my brain, but I don't have, like, a running tally of all the things that were wrong about this movie. I know that apparently it's more important to the Batman mythos for his mother's necklace to explode on the ground, as it has so many times before, than for his father not to have tried to punch the mugger. Because I'm pretty sure I've never seen that happen before. Also, I'm not sure if Batman and Superman's mothers have the same name, or if that's something they made up for the purposes of this movie, but it seemed awfully contrived, if that's the case. Because this is from Superman, where, like, every important woman in his life is an alliteration. Maybe her original name was Cartha.
Both their names are Martha.
Okay. And you just, like, stuff, like, I don't care particularly that Superman killed a bunch of people. To me, Superman is not this, frozen in bronze character that's not allowed to change if Bryan Singer or whatever the fuck wants him to change. But this was a bad movie. The characters, like, Superman in some scenes was Dr. Manhattan from Watchmen, trying to have humanity in a situation where he was just so above all the other people in the scene that it's just kind of beyond him. And then at other scenes, he was seeing a little girl out in a building on fire on TV and abandoning his, basically flying to Mexico to save this girl. And it wasn't the same character as it was the scene before. And then the next scene, he's punching Batman's car off the street for no other reason than to pull him over and be a dick. It's like they didn't so much develop character arcs for these people as they decided what would be the coolest / smuggest bullshit that they could be doing for any particular scene, and then have them do that. You look so sad.
I had low expectations. This was goddamn awful. It was, I have all the same complaints I had for Man of Steel. All of the same complaints. This was a worse movie.
Okay.
Easily a worse movie. I don't even know where to fucking start. Let's start at the filmmakers, obviously. The major fault in Man of Steel and the major fault with this movie, the most important fault, is that they simply do not understand the characters they have. They do not understand them. They don't. Characters have been around for so long. Yes, they're open to interpretation, but especially with the three main characters they have in this movie, they're icons. There's certain things that don't change. There's certain things that remain static, and that's what makes those characters what they are. And Zack Snyder and whatever fucktard wrote this piece of shit.
I don't know why I said Bryan Singer. I think I got it off of one of the previews.
Yeah, he's doing the X-Men movie that's coming out.
That's what I was thinking. Sorry, guys.
And he did make Superman Returns.
Oh yes, I'm sure that's what I was thinking of.
But they obviously don't understand Superman. They don't understand Batman. They don't understand any of their supporting characters. They're going with this weird revisionist thing just to fit into Zack Snyder's weird Ayn Randian fucking worldview.
Of Superman as Messiah.
Well, that's a running
/ Aslan.
That's
you got fairly Aslan-y at the end.
Well, and that's a big theme that's been used in Superman comics and other media over the years. But the thing that they don't do in this, that has always been done before, is that Superman denies it. Immediately and without hesitation.
Oh no, in this one he's like, yes, children, come to me, and they're like, yay,
standing
Superman.
in the air like fucking floaty Jesus while people drown. Like, that's not who fucking Superman is.
They weren't drowning, they were all like, yay, you're here, and he's like, yes, I am indeed here. Shall save you momentarily. Posing. Okay.
It's overused, but I wouldn't. I'm not complaining because they tried to do the Superman as the Christ figure thing. It's just that the fact that he's not Superman about it, and I don't want to fucking hear about all this. Well, he's just becoming Superman, or like, no, because the other thing they got wrong in the last movie is they got his entire upbringing wrong. Everything that makes Superman are the values that were instilled in him by his fucking Midwestern farmers' parents, which they completely fucked up before, but
how did they fuck it up?
Oh, they fucking bullshit, selfish Pa Kent made him a fucking asshole. It's just wrong. But we're not here to talk about fucking Man of Steel. So the Superman, they've already got wrong, and they don't change that. They don't do anything to fix it either. They make it worse. Batman, they get wrong from the fucking beginning. From the first one, they open this movie with the fucking parents getting shot thing again.
In case you didn't know.
Again. And it's, I don't care. You know it by now. They showed it less than 10 fucking years ago. We don't need it again.
See, I'm going to interject briefly, because I could see showing his parents get killed. Like, nobody doesn't know that Batman's parents got killed, but it is an important aspect of his character.
No,
showing him booking it from the funeral and falling into the hole and being like, oh yeah, bats, those are scary. That bit they could have skipped. They could skip that once. Bats are scary.
Well,
you don't have to fall into a hole to find that out.
One, they tried this fun thing in this one where even during the parents getting shot thing where Thomas Wayne takes a fucking swing at Joe Chill, and you know what? for the first time ever, this is what I'm gonna say. They fucking both deserve to die. They deserve to die. When a man is holding a gun to you and your family,
aha, here I am, and he's all like, pow.
Oh, and here's the fun thing I don't know if anybody else has picked up on. Did anybody else notice that fucking Joe Chill in this was of Middle Eastern descent?
Nope.
Oh,
I
yeah.
was just laughing. His name is Joe Chill.
He was fucking Middle Eastern.
Because it reminds
me
of...
He was Middle Eastern, I swear to Christ.
Of Snoopy's.
Yeah, and if the actor wasn't Middle Eastern, they put some brown on him.
Okay, everything was brown in this movie, so I couldn't really differentiate, especially with the 3D glasses on. But if you say that was so, then that was so.
I could swear that's what I saw. Could be wrong, but I will swear up and down that's at least what I saw while I was watching it.
Okay. I believe you.
But to get that wrong...
Again, the name Joe Chill just makes me laugh.
The fucking Waynes deserve to die because they both acted like fucking idiots. A man has a gun on you and all he wants is money. And we know that even...
But that's the thing.
In the history, when they're nice to him and they offer him the money, he still shoots them. But you know what? You don't fucking swing at the guy.
But that's the thing. In this version of the story, the guy doesn't say... He doesn't hold the gun and say like, hey, give me your money. He just steps up to them in the middle of the street and holds out the gun and points it at them. That to me is not a mugging. That is a super fucking ballsy assassination. And you know what? I think that if someone walked up to me, word unsaid, and held the gun to my face, maybe I'll take a wild swing. Fuck it, I'm dying. You know?
But still, it changes.
It changes. I'm not refuting that fact. I'm just saying it's not the dumbest thing in the world to do when someone's obviously about to murder you.
Yeah, but changing the context of that and putting that in, I mean, it doesn't seem like 30 seconds of on-screen can fuck up the whole build of a character, but it can, and it does.
But the pearls were the important thing.
Yeah, because they get locked up behind the hammer of the gun somehow.
Just so they could break. Now, the fact that the movie was Excalibur, is that also an important plot point?
No, and traditionally it's always been the Mask of Zorro.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
I don't know why I noticed it, but I did.
Yeah, always traditionally it's been the Mask of Zorro. I don't know why they went with Excalibur. Maybe it's a movie Zack Snyder likes, which I dig Excalibur. That's okay.
It's like for me, the first hour and change of this movie is fairly interesting. You're watching Batman slowly realize that the smartest thing to do is take a run at Superman, and you're with him on that journey. But then everything fucking goes off the rails.
But it's an incoherent journey the entire time.
Oh, it absolutely is. He goes forward in time at one point with no explanation as to why or who the fuck he's talking to or whether he was asleep when this happened.
Oh, the part with the Flash.
Was that who that was?
Yeah, that was the Flash, who was a dream within a dream, and somewhere in there, like that whole dream sequence... he's having...
Oh, it said the battery's low.
Yeah, we're gonna have to pause the video.
And we're back.
Alright, so
I can't remember what we were talking about. Joe Chill, probably.
Yeah. Oh no, we were talking about the whole Flash thing. Where somehow...
Oh yeah, he's on like, Lois Lane and, this Superman Brigade.
Yeah, which that was weird. That whole fantasy sequence where he's the post-apocalyptic, which obviously, I guess, Superman was the bad guy instead of... Obviously, though, they were on Apocalypse. There was the fucking parademons and the fucking Omega symbol and all that shit, which...
Obviously. Tell me again who that is.
Darkseid. Is...
Oh, that's right, Darkseid.
Yes. It's, and basically one of the big bads of the DC universe.
Is he like he's a bad guy planet? This is all coming back to me.
No, he's not a planet.
Oh, okay.
He has a planet.
Okay, is the planet also a bad guy?
He rules a planet, and he occasionally will try and transform a planet into I mean, he's actually...
Which is one that's like a big, just like a planet that eats people?
A planet that eats people?
It's got like a big face on it.
Well, that's Ego the Living Planet.
Okay.
That's a Marvel character.
That's what I'm thinking of.
No, but I mean, Darkseid, the big Omega symbol that's done in the ground, and then those little flying things, those are called parademons.
Okay, so not only was he having some sort of psychotic break, but he was also seeing into the future.
Yeah.
Where he's in an apocalyptic wasteland where everyone just simply knows him as Batman, but he still wears the hat.
Yeah.
Yes, because it's important.
Yeah.
That he keep his face coated in sand and sweat from having been covered with rubber for a couple of weeks.
Yeah. No, this movie didn't make any sense. It's obvious they were trying to build to the fight, but everything they did to get there was so convoluted.
And so dumb. Like, Batman's supposed to be smart. That's what he's bringing to the table.
He's a detective, for fuck's sake.
Smarts and contingency plans, and he has neither in this movie.
No.
His plan is steal some stuff that he got super obviously tricked into stealing and make a stick out of it and then stab Superman with a stick.
And steal that stuff in the most overt, like, pointlessly violent way to where
peeled the case open. He didn't even use like a bat tool for glass cutting.
Yeah, and leaves a batarang right in the middle. Like, Batman wouldn't do it that way. I'm sorry.
Batman in this movie is basically the Batman that I end up being when I try to play one of the Arkham games. In that I'm super crappy at the stealthy bits, and then I'm just running around in circles punching until I get out of trouble. Do you see the similarity?
No.
This is not quality movies.
No.
It's hilarious.
No, this was just... They were trying to fit... And, of course, it made the mistake that a lot of superhero movies make, and a lot of them make, that very few of them do, is they had so many characters, and they're trying to give everybody a little screen time, and they're trying to introduce the whole Justice League, apparently.
Via video file. And like the thing
I still think they all look like absolute fucking garbage, and every single one of them is miscast.
Oh, I think Wonder Woman looks good.
She looks... I'm talking about the three they introduced in the video file.
Oh, okay. Well, like, she has the video file.
And those movies can prove me wrong. It's...
Khal Drogo looked vaguely feral and aquatic.
I hate him as Aquaman.
Okay.
I find the idea of him Aquaman...
Jason...
Momoa?
Yeah, Khal Drogo.
Whatever. He's the worst, honestly, in my opinion, the worst possible casting for Aquaman. The fact of the matter is, the man's a shitty actor. He's a shitty actor. Watch anything he's in where he speaks English, he's a shitty actor.
Okay.
He really is.
But you don't have a problem with Wonder Woman? Because I thought that she was the best part of this movie, and I kind of wish there was more of her.
She certainly looked the part, and during the action scenes, I liked her a lot. Anytime she opened her mouth, I wanted her to shut it again immediately.
I thought she acted just fine, and she was reading off of a kind of a pretty terrible script.
And that's the thing. It's like, I don't know that it was her fault.
I think it absolutely wasn't her fault.
It's the same with Affleck. Like, everything he said was so stupid and so not Batman, but he was
detecting.
But you could see the potential. It's the same with Henry Cavill as Superman. It's not bad casting, it's just the script is so fucking god-awful. And it's such a piece of shit, dark, bleak, pointless, hopeless, hateful movie. That there's nothing in it that resembles Superman.
It's a disaster movie. It's basically a disaster movie where there's a tornado and a hurricane, but they both have like feelings and emotions, and then they do battle and they team up and be friends.
Yeah, I don't think Zack Snyder understands superheroes. Like the concept of like the larger than life. Like the guy flies and wears tights and a cape. It doesn't need to be realistic. It just, this movie was depressing. Really, honestly depressing. And I honestly, after this and all the money they pumped into it, and all the money they're going to pump into Justice League, which is next, or actually Wonder Woman's probably going to come out first and then Justice League. I have no faith in the DC Universe plan. I at this point can't see them making a good movie. I can't see it happening. Yeah, no.
So I'll buy that. I don't give a shit about DC. For me, Superman's always been fairly boring. I like me some Batman, but that's mostly just because of the movies. I don't read it in the comic books. And I enjoy the origins of Wonder Woman in the context of, like, the culture of the time and the obvious fetishes / psychological problems of the guy who created her. But that's not off of me reading the comic books. That's off of me enjoying the internet and reading articles about them.
Yeah. No.
It's just that, like, for me, if this movie had 3 superheroes that were absolutely nothing like their comic book counterparts, but it had been a cohesive story, and they'd all developed nicely into, like, monstrous abominations, then I probably would have enjoyed it. But I didn't, because it was fucking slapdash.
Well, and I can say the same thing. I've liked, the 2 Tim Burton Batman movies, which I love. They're great movies. As a Batman movie, are they any good? No, they're shit Batman movies.
That's my idea of Batman.
But they're
you
great.
Want to get nuts?
No,
let's get nuts.
They're shit Batman movies, but they're great movies. Like, they're really fun to watch. As like a Batman, like, does it resemble the actual character of Batman very well? No, not at all. But they're fun. They're fun. Like, I'll even.
Is there any of them that you feel have gotten the character of Batman correct?
The closest one I would say is Batman Begins.
Not Dark Knight?
Some of it, but not so much. Batman Begins, I think, as far as the Batman movies go, I'd say Batman Begins is the best Batman movie. The Dark Knight is the best movie with Batman in it.
Yeah, because Batman Begins is fairly boring, and I'm not trying to be a killjoy. It's just it's all like, oh no, it's my teacher who taught me karate in the mountains for 45 minutes.
And it's fairly revisionist, and they don't do a lot of the things right, but they get the essence of the character better than any of the other ones do. There's some. I've watched the Nolan movies recently. The Dark Knight is a fantastic movie, but it as a Batman movie, that movie's about Harvey Dent and the Joker. That's what that movie's about. Batman is a supporting character in it.
And I can dig it. I enjoyed that.
No, it's a great movie. The third one is a piece of shit.
Fish.
It wasn't a good movie.
No, it absolutely wasn't.
And it was a terrible ending to what. I mean, the first 2 movies were pretty solid, and the third one was. It was rushed, I think. I think it was. They're like, oh, we want to do all these things before we stop making these, but this is the last one. We'll put them all together. But even, like, I like the Marvel movies, but I can live with you make changes to the character or the origin story. I'm not, for a movie or a TV show, I'm okay with that.
You little liar.
No, because you have to do it sometimes. There's some things that do need to stay the same, but if you tweak certain things to make them work, it works. But some things, like, you just gotta get the most important thing is always to get the feeling of the character right, and they failed miserably at that with this movie. Really badly.
It was a terribly dumb movie. I'd suggest, if you're gonna go see it, don't watch the first one, because it kind of makes the beginning sort of exciting, because you're like, ooh, who's she? Ooh, who's he? Oh no, what happened to the city? And then just kind of stop watching right around when I don't know. When should one stop watching?
The first 5 seconds.
Maybe after Lex Luthor gives his speech.
Oh, horrible characterization of Lex Luthor.
Oh, after the thing blows up. Just like the thing will blow up and Superman will be like, "Aw, man," and then you can just press stop and be like, and they all lived happily ever after. Because I think that for me was the point where it just all stopped, where I just stopped really giving a shit.
Yeah, no, within 5 seconds I was done with this. I was very obviously done with this movie in the first 5 seconds.
Thing is, I love me some Jesse Eisenberg.
No, and
So I will put up with a lot of bullshit from him, and I can't tell if it was if he did this character well, or if it's just because I love me some Jesse Eisenberg, and I'll put up with some bullshit from him.
He did the character terribly.
Oh, that's too bad.
Terribly.
I mean, it's floppy and fun.
Yeah, no,
He's doing it like he had an internet startup, and also he's a villain. Speaking of which, but did Lex Luthor, like actual Lex Luthor, get abused by his dad? Or was that something they just threw into the movie for character development?
It's been hinted at different storylines, but no, it's honestly what I think. What happened here with Jesse Eisenberg is they really wanted a Heath Ledger Joker character.
I don't think that was the case at all.
I guarantee it. I guarantee it. They gave him so many of the same beats.
They did make him kind of a nut bar, so I'm disinclined to disagree with you outright, but I think he was bringing more to the table than just a Heath Ledger impression.
No, and not an impression. But I think a lot of it was written like that. And of the characterizations, by far the worst, and this is saying something, was Lex Luthor. Yeah, just that was. Nah, yeah. Look, I can't keep talking about this piece of shit movie.
Alright, shall we do previews? Oh, final thoughts. Probably don't go see it.
No, don't.
Deep Water Horizon, which I don't remember a single thing about.
Deepwater. Oh, that was the one with the fucking all-star cast about the oil.
Mark Wahlberg is gonna drill for some oil, and it's got his adorable daughter talking about how daddy tames the dinosaurs.
Yeah, I wonder what a fucking Republican super PAC paid for that movie. Moving on.
Well, it explodes, so, man versus nature. Nature will triumph. Free State of Jones, which looked like fun. McConaughey.
Civil War movie.
Yes. He's playing I guess he just starts his own little country and saves a bunch of escaping slaves and shoots a bunch of Confederate guys.
I think it's more like those slaves save him.
I think that's probably the case.
Yeah.
Maybe they save each other.
Oh, heartwarming.
And the only Batman I gave a shit about tonight, and that would be Lego Batman.
That at least looks like fun.
It did. He did a
breakdance.
He did a little flip out. It wasn't a breakdance. It was a temper tantrum that turned into a breakdance, but it was goddamn adorable.
Well, sneaking in the Batman 66 theme song, yeah.
A reference to all the Batman movies. So that looked like fun. Suicide Squad?
Yeah.
Again, I don't really care. I like Margot Robbie, but I don't really like the things that have happened to Harley Quinn since the cartoon that she started on.
That's actually... I have... The opposite problem that I normally have is that character was ruined by comic books. Uh-huh. And honestly, the fans fucked up Harley Quinn. Mm-hmm. The fans fucked up Harley Quinn.
In what sense? Just by fetishizing her? And...
Fetishizing the cosplay and just I hate to say it, but the type of fan that was... Nine out of...
I'm a little worried where you're going with this.
Yeah, chances are 9 out of 10 you go to a con, the person who's dressed like Harley Quinn has some severe emotional issues. Mm-hmm. Which is too bad, and I think a lot of people were drawn to that character, got fetishized and brought up that... I think the entire point of that character is pretty much missed by almost everybody who calls themselves a fan of that character.
See, I disagree with your point about most people who dress up like Harley Quinn having issues. I think that when you some people when they cosplay they want to make it sexy, and Harley Quinn is a costume that lends itself to being made sexy on account of she's cute and pert and wears tight clothes. And it seems like whenever a new iteration of her appears, it's attempts to make it more gritty or more street clothesy, and every time that happens, a little bit more clothes gets removed, and the cosplayers do that one.
Yeah.
You know, there's plenty of other overly sexualized cosplays on top of Harley Quinn. I don't think that saying that's part of the I think that's correlation does not denote causation.
Well, I feel like a lot of it started at conventions with cosplay, and then artists picked up on that, on how fans were reacting to the character, and started feeding that in. And it also had a lot to do with the few cheeseball artists that, feel the need to de-dress all the characters too. There is a lot of that in comics, and it's sad, and it's the thing is, like, every couple of years it seems to get better for a little while, and then they just give up.
I just feel like, for me, I'd prefer if we focused on how mentally ill Harley is, rather than being like, ooh, she's sexy, and also she's a little bit nuts. She's mentally ill.
Well, and that's kind of the point of the character that gets, like, I saw an argument online on some message board or something where somebody was arguing about how, there was this controversy a few years ago where there was a contest to draw something for Harley Quinn for DC, and so like a spec page went out of the script, and the script had Harley Quinn repeatedly trying to kill herself, and
they made it sexy.
No, the script didn't at all.
No, I'm saying did the artists make it sexy?
No, people threw a fit that Harley Quinn was trying to kill herself. That a strong, independent female character wouldn't do that.
But she's not.
Exactly.
Anyway, I don't want to get in trouble. War Dogs, which looks like maybe it'll be fun.
Which one was that?
That was the one with Jonah Hill and Miles Teller, where they were like gun runners, and it was all zany and anticsy.
It could go either way.
It looked like they were like, Wolf of Wall Street did pretty good, so let's just kind of do that again, but with gun runners.
Yeah. It could go either way, I think. Wolf of Wall Street, if it wasn't for Martin Scorsese, it wouldn't have been a very good movie.
At least it didn't look like Miles Teller was kind of sleepwalking through it. It seems like lately that's all he's been doing with his movies.
I think he's one of those dudes that has like that sleepy face anyway, but I think it's...
Point taken.
I think he's one of those guys that I think can, like, Whiplash he's fantastic in. I think he's one of those guys that when he cares a lot, he's going to be good, and when he doesn't care, he's just not going to care.
World of Warcraft. Which I wrote down World of Warcraft when I saw Blizzard Entertainment pop up, but it turns out it's just called Warcraft.
Yeah, I have zero interest. To me, it does not look like a good movie in any way, shape, or form. Even the CGI doesn't look fucking very good. And it's a movie that's almost all CGI. And I think it's too bad because Duncan Jones's first movie was goddamn genius.
Moon!
Yep.
I don't play World of Warcraft, so I guess I don't have a dog in this hunt, as it were.
Neither do I, and I have no interest in it. I feel like they probably missed the boom for the movie when they should have had that movie come out. And yeah, and I feel bad for I kind of wish that movie wasn't coming out this year because I don't think it's going to do well, and I think Duncan Jones has been through enough this year. So
what's he been through?
His dad died.
Oh no.
His dad's David Bowie.
Oh no.
Yeah, so
well, that sucks.
Yeah.
Ghostbusters.
Once again, don't give a shit. Don't think it looks good.
I don't think it looks as terrible as everyone seems to think it does.
I don't find Melissa McCarthy funny. And I don't care that it's all girls. I really don't give a shit. It doesn't bother me at all. But to me, the tone and feel of the movie, they don't feel right. It doesn't look or feel right, and I have no interest. I don't think there needs to be any other Ghostbuster movies anyway. It's just one of those things, let it be. Let it die. It's okay. There's 2 movies. They're both okay. That can be the end.
I don't know. Why does anyone do anything? I think that I find Melissa McCarthy funny. I've had this argument on camera before, so I'm not going to get into it now. Kristen Wiig I don't find as insufferable as Brad seems to, and I like that
I like
third
Kristen
girl,
Wiig.
the one who's on SNL, who does all the impressions.
Yeah. Oh yeah, she's good.
Yeah.
No, and I like Kristen Wiig, and Melissa McCarthy. I honestly think she's one of those people that in a couple years she's going to get a couple dramatic roles in, and she's going to knock them out of the park, and she's going to be good at that stuff. But it's the everything I've seen her in, I've absolutely hated, and I've absolutely hated her in. I find
Still, you didn't see Spy. You don't know.
No, but I saw enough
Spy was
other
so
things.
good. Anyway, the thing that I don't like about the preview is Chris Hemsworth. I think that character is dumb and pointless.
Yeah, he's a beefcake, you know? That's what he's there for.
And then X-Men's Apocalypse.
I really like the last 2 X-Men movies. This one doesn't look very good to me.
You're just in a bad mood.
I am in an incredibly bad mood, but no, honestly, like, okay, a little more Fassbender as Magneto. I'm down. Introducing some new characters, okay. The X-Men movies, I've completely given up on them being in any way accurate to the comic books, because not one of them has been, and not one of them is ever going to be, so there's no point in hoping for it. But it just looks a little overblown and unnecessary to me. I don't know.
It seems like they're introducing a lot of new characters in this one, and I think we were discussing that earlier as to how that's not necessarily a good thing.
Yeah, they're introducing a lot of characters in this one. But
And as I leaned over to mention to you in the theater, like, I really like the character of Psylocke. I like, she was probably one of my favorites growing up, but one thing that has not aged well is her outfit, and I'm a little annoyed that they brought that back because it is Grundytown, USA, and no one would fight in that leotard. That's all I got. Her poor vagina! Why would you do that? Why would you do that to a vagina? I thought you liked vaginas. Not you.
they had nothing
Presumably they like vaginas. They came out of one.
some people just don't. I mean, some of us love vaginas.
Baby. Okay, we're about out of stuff.
Yeah, I'm tired. I want to go to bed.
Yes. I'm gonna go have a hamburger, I think, and cry softly over it. Have a good night.